Most academic writing tools perform well when the draft is rough or when the errors are easy to spot. So I wanted a harder test. I took a research manuscript that was one step from journal submission and deliberately damaged it. 7 hidden problems, 3 grammar errors, 2 missing references, 1 hidden plagiarism risk, and 1 paragraph written with clear AI writing red flags. At first glance, the manuscript still looks polished. That is exactly what makes this a real test. If a writing tool is genuinely valuable for serious research, it should catch more than the obvious. So let's see whether this popular AI tool can catch these errors. Here's the thing about getting a paper ready for submission. Whether it is for journal article, thesis, dissertation, or a research report, the same worries come up every single time. Is anything too close to a source I use? Are my references complete and consistent? Are there grammar problems a reviewer will catch before I do? And increasingly, does any part of my writing look AI generated, even when it is not? There are many tools that promise to help. Most handle 1 problem at a time. Some handle 2 at most. What is rare is for a tool that can check all 4 in one place: plagiarism, references, grammar, and AI detection. That matters because you do not want to upload the same manuscript into 4 different services and then piece the feedback together yourself. The tool I am testing today is Paperpal. It claims to bring these checks into one workflow, one upload, 4 checks, which brings us back to the manuscript I deliberately damaged. 7 hidden problems spread across all 4 categories inside a paper that still looks clean. If an all-in-one academic writing tool is truly useful, this is where it has to prove it. So let's upload the manuscript and run the checks. So this is how the platform looks like. Let's just log in and then see what we can do from there. So I am now inside Paperpal. This is what the interface looks like. There seems to be a lot of features here, but we are only interested in the all checks in one feature. So as you can see, it says all checks in one click: plagiarism, AI detection, grammar, and references. And we can upload a document of up to 25 megabytes in size. Now, before I even upload the document, I want to make clear about the test. I'm not asking the tool to write a paper. I'm asking a narrower question. Can it review a polished academic document and find problems that actually matter before submission? So this is the document that I will upload. It's a scientific comment written to look like a near final journal submission. The manuscript has planted issues. As you can see, there's grammar error. There are 2 missing references. There's 1 hidden risk of plagiarism. As you can see at the top there, there's AI style writing red flags. I already know where each of these issues on 3 questions. So I will judge Paperpal on 3 questions. Did it catch the problem? Did it explain the issue clearly? And did the feedback actually help me make a better revision? That 3rd question is the important one. A good academic writing tool shouldn't only mark up a document. It should help the researcher make a better decision. Okay, I'm going to upload the manuscript now. I'll run the checks and then we'll go through the results one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and upload my document here. This is the article I'm using, the article with errors, right? I'm going to see whether Paperpal can catch all these errors and make important suggestions. Now I've uploaded it. It will go through a series of steps. It will take anywhere between 30 seconds all the way to a couple of minutes to generate the results for grammar, plagiarism, AI detection. And then we have to actually run reference checks for it to also generate the results. So we'll come back after the results have been generated. As you can see, most of the results would resolve quickly. References would take an additional amount of time. Since it's verifying each citation rather than just scanning text, so that's the one who will have to wait a bit longer. So while it's working in the background, Here's my honest prediction. For grammar, I expect it to get the errors. That's the easy one. The plagiarism and the AI paragraph are where I think it will either impress me or fall apart. And the missing reference are the dark horse. That's the check I'll be most expect a tool to quickly skip. So that's the scorecard in my head going in. Let's see how close I am. All right, so this is the snapshot of what we have. 4 checks, 4 numbers, as you can see. Grammar, 40 suggestions. Plagiarism, 8%. AI detection, 18% flag. References, 10 issues flagged. Now, the grammar number being high isn't surprising. This is a writing tool. It's built to suggest edits and paraphrasing, tone changes, and all that. So 40, I would say, is expected. As I said, I'm not going to hold the volume of grammatical errors against it. But here's a bad set. I planted 7 specific problems: 3 grammar errors, 2 missing references, 1 plagiarism risk, and 1 AI flagged paragraph. Those 7 are the flaw. At the minimum, the tool this thorough should catch every one of them. Anything extra it flags is a bonus, but only if it holds up when I actually look at it. So there's a 2-part test for each check, right? The first part is that did it catch what I intentionally planted in the document? That is non-negotiable. The second part is the extra flag. Are they real issues I'd want to fix, or over-eager suggestions I can reasonably ignore? And I'm not taking any of them on faith. We'll open each one and look before deciding it counts. One thread I do want to come back. AI detection reads 18% and is the only number shown in green, as if that's a good news. We'll get to whether 18% AI text should actually feel reassuring. Okay, so grammar first, right? Grammar check. As I said, the tool returned 40 suggestions. So the question is whether my planted errors are in there and what the rest are made of. The 2 I planted were both basic manuscript mistakes, a subject-verb agreement error, and a tense slip. And the tool caught both. As you can see, it was able to detect the subject-verb agreement error here, and then there's another tense usage that I mistakenly added that also was able to get flagged. So that's the flaw. It's been able to clear the flaw, but it didn't stop there. It's also suggested other errors that I can check. The other suggestions mainly break into rephrasing, punctuations, word choice, and going through them, most are genuinely useful. And this is where the workflow actually matters. For each suggestion, what I'll do is to click on it, and immediately I'll have maybe 2 or 3 suggestions. I'll have the suggestion to accept or reject. So I'm not forced to take anything on faith. I go through them one after the other and then make sure that the correct ones are accepted. So for this one, I know this is correct because I intentionally planted the wrong ones. So I'll accept all. This is also ethical usage. I'll accept. So I'll go through all this and accept the correct ones. So on the grammar side, I think it caught everything I planted. The corrections were right and the extra suggestions made the writing better. So I would say for grammar, I'll give it maybe probably 10 out of 10. If I'm being a little bit stingy, 9 out of 10. All right. So now the next important stage is plagiarism, right? And the first thing to understand is what this number actually is. So like Turnitin, the tool compares your text against a huge database and gives you an overall similarity score. Mine came out to be 8%. But here's the trap most people fall into. The score by itself tells you almost nothing. A similarity percentage isn't truly a verdict. It's just a starting point. What matters is opening each of these flag passages and deciding case by case whether it's real problem. So as you can see here, it flags 6 issues. For most of them, once you open it, you can dismiss immediately because you've already cited. But one flag that I was actually looking out for was this particular sentence. This was my planted overlap. It's a passage that leans too close to an existing source, and the tool caught it. Even better, it pointed me straight to the matching article. So if I want to keep the idea, I know exactly what to cite. Its suggestions is to exclude or rework the text. I think that's the right call. So on that job, it's actually built to do. It did it perfectly. Finding copied or near copied text, it passed on that one. But there's one limitation researchers need to hear, and is the reason this doesn't get a perfect score. So I planted one more problem this check could not catch. Somewhere in a manuscript is a sentence here that makes a specific explicit claim that needs a citation. But I wrote it in my own words. It isn't copied from anywhere else. So there's no matching source for the tool to find. And it sails through completely clean without detection. So that's the thing to take away. A similarity checker tells you whether you copied, not whether you cited everything you should have. A clean score doesn't mean your attributions are complete. It means you didn't lift text. Those are two different problems, and this tool only sees one of them. So on the part of plagiarism, it caught my planted overlap. It surfaced the source, and the per passage detail is genuinely useful. But because the check is blind to missing attributions, arguably the more dangerous problem, I'm scoring the plagiarism perhaps 6 out of 10. So the next part is AI detection. This is easily the most controversial feature here, and the one I'll trust least without reading carefully. I mean, my manuscript came back as 18% AI, but the headline percentage isn't really the point. What I care about is whether it found the paragraph I deliberately wrote with AI red flag. So I'll go to the breakdown of the AI writing pattern breakdown. It has AI written 10%, human AI blend 2%, human written 88%. Wow, I did a really good job. Now, what I want to do is to go to the AI written section and see whether I was able to detect the part that I deliberately wrote in the voice of AI, right? So this is a paragraph that was entirely AI written. As you can see, in today's rapidly evolving global health landscape, it is important to leverage robust, dynamic, and comprehensive response frameworks. So this was clearly AI written, and it is the main part that it was able to detect as AI written, which is 10%. So on that part, it did the job I was testing for. But here's the part worth saying plainly. AI detectors aren't perfect, and they cut both ways. I know my paragraph is AI because I wrote it that way, but I can't assume everything it flags is correctly classified. So some flag text may be perfectly legitimate human prose. So what's my honest takeaway from the AI detection component? That feature is a prompt to look, not a verdict to trust. Don't treat the AI percentage as proof of anything. Go to the flagged sections, read them yourself, and rephrase the ones with genuinely obvious AI patterns. The judgment stays with you. It caught what I implanted, so at least it clears the flaw for me. The last check is references, and honestly, this is where the dashboard gets more sophisticated. So it flagged 10 reference issues, which sounds like a lot until you look at what it actually means. The 10 references were evaluated against multiple checks: retracted status, relevance, journal quality, DOI validity, citation completeness, age, and count. So the same 10 references shows up in multiple checks, which is why the count sounds higher than the actual problems. The real finding for me breaks down into 3 tiers, as you can see here. So the first is a critical one. I planted an orphan in-text citation, right? A sentence that references number 11 but has no matching entry in the reference list. This would trigger an editorial desk rejection on site, and the tool caught it here as one of the critical problems, which, is exactly what I was expecting. At least this tool clears the flaw for that kind of critical error. The rest of the issues are moderate and low. That runs from formatting issues to URL being flagged and the rest. And honestly, this feature or this ability here is the thing that impresses me about this particular feature. It doesn't only mark up the document, it explains severity, supplies you with the solutions, and acknowledges context. It caught my critical problem and gave me a guidance I can actually act on. So on the references, which is perhaps one of the critical areas, I'll score it a solid 8 out of 10. It caught the planted issue, the triage is clear, and the fixes are practical. Now, here is the scorecard. For grammar, we all know it did very well, 10 out of 10. Paperpal caught all 3 planted grammar errors, corrected them accurately, and the extra suggestions improved the writing. For plagiarism, perhaps 7 out of 10. It found the planted source overlap and surfaced the source. That was useful, but it did not catch a sentence written in my own words that still needed attribution. References, perhaps 8 out of 10. It caught the orphaned citation and showed a clear fix, but again, it did not catch the paraphrased claim that needed citation. AI detection is useful but limited. It flagged the paragraph I intentionally wrote with AI style markers. The main lesson here is simple. AI detection should prompt a close review. It should not be treated as a final judgment. So what does this tell us? Paperpal is the strongest at finding visible problems in a finished manuscript, grammar issues, formatting problems, detectable source overlap, missing reference entries, orphaned citations. That is valuable because these are exactly the kinds of issues that can make a manuscript look careless before submission. But there is a clear limitation. The tool can identify many existing problems, but cannot always tell when a paraphrased claim needs a citation. That still requires the researcher to read carefully, understand the claim, and decide whether the evidence is properly attributed. So yes, the all-in-one workflow is useful. One upload, grammar check, plagiarism, reference check, AI detection. That saves time and reduces the need to move the same manuscript across several platforms. But all in one place does not mean everything is solved. For researchers, this is how I would use it. I'll run the check, accept the grammar and formatting fixes that make sense, review every plagiarism and reference flag, treat the AI detection results with caution, then read the manuscript again yourself. Ask whether every major claim is properly solved. Ask whether the writing still sounds like you. And if the manuscript really matters, have another person read it cold. That is where serious revision happens. If you like to try Paperpal, they provided a discount code for this community. Use Banda 20 for 30% off. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one.